Today's episode of Off the Timeline is titled The Decision That Let Oregon Escape the Pack. In this parallel universe, like ours in 2014, Oregon plays for a national championship and loses. However, somehow that loss in today's parallel universe is what finally made them impossible to contain. Because this alternate universe isn't about a play call, it's not about a coach, it's about the moment a conference realized its best program didn't need it anymore, and there was nothing they could do to stop it. This isn't the story of Oregon leaving the pack. It's the story of how the Pac-10 lost to Oregon years before anyone moved. But first, we need to set the table. In this case, we're going to go back to 2003. Oregon is good. It's not dominant, not fragile, but stable. The Pac-10 still works on paper. USC is rising. TV money feels fine. Nobody thinks the map is about to change. Then Oregon makes a hire that looks sensible, not flashy, not rebellious, just quietly national. This isn't about innovation, it's about portability. And we need to set the table on why this hire matters. In this case, is for this universe, it happens to be Rich Rodriguez. This hire in 2003 isn't Oregon rejecting the Pac-10. It solves a different problem. It's their attempt to answer the question, how do we win without needing California? That question alone breaks the conference because the Pac-10 wasn't built to keep programs that could survive independently. It was built on interdependence. And if you're thinking plenty of teams won without leaving the Pac-10, say the mid-2000s USC, that's true. But Oregon wasn't just winning. They were learning how not to depend on the system that made winning matter. And that sets the table to success without drama covering 2003 to 2006. The results are very good in this window. 9-3, 10-2, 11-1, 10-2. No national championships, but that's sort of the point. Oregon looks normal good, but recruiting starts to change. Media framing changes. Recruits stop asking, what conference are you in? They ask, how often are you on TV? That's new. And that sets the table for where things start to break. And that's the part people miss. Oregon never postures that they're leaving the Pac-10. Instead, other conferences start asking questions, quiet ones. The Big 12 panics first, not because Oregon wants in, but because Oregon proves the Pac-10 might not even matter. And once that idea exists, you absolutely cannot erase it. At this point, you might be thinking, if this was real, the Pac-10 would have acted on it. Trust me, they tried. There were TV negotiations, expansion committees, long timelines. Oregon didn't really object. They just kept winning. And that sets the table for the calm becoming a major thing here. From 2009 to 2012 in this parallel universe, you get seasons of 10-2, 12-1, 11-2, and 12-1. And this is where the story flips. Oregon's not chasing relevance anymore. They're stress testing the system. Broadcasts start saying things like, if Oregon were in another league, that's not speculation, that's erosion. And we set the table for the second time where things break. Specifically 2010, Washington leaks first, not publicly, administratively, because Washington understands something USC doesn't yet. If Oregon leaves without you, you shrink. That leak reaches the Big Ten, and suddenly Oregon's not a question, they're a contingency. Now you may be thinking, well, maybe Oregon had some down years. Yes, that's what makes this worse. Even Oregon's quote unquote down years still look safe. Their floor never collapses. and safety is the rarest currency in realignment. And that sets the stage for the inflection point. They go 12-2. They get a CFP title game appearance. Oregon loses the championship. The same as in our universe. However, in this universe, the Pac-10 loses the argument because the question becomes unavoidable. What exactly does this conference even add? Not history, not access, not protection. Oregon doesn't announce anything. They just plan for a future where the answer is nothing. And that sets the table for the moves everyone else makes. Washington survives by proximity. Stanford and UCLA survive by alignment. Arizona State waits too long, and they're one of the losers in this universe. Utah still wins in this parallel universe, but too late to get positively to be a winner in this realignment scenario. The Pac-10 doesn't dissolve loudly; it fades away, and that sets the table for Oregon as the control group. In the 2020s and going into the 2030s, they have annual playoff relevance. They even win a national title. They make multiple semifinals. Oregon becomes boringly elite. And that's the real ending. Because once a program becomes structurally safe, the chaos ends for them. This story in alternate universe was not about betrayal. It was about timing. Oregon didn't leave early. They just arrived before the door closed. By the time everyone else realized the room was filling up, Oregon already had a seat. And if you want to see how close other programs came and exactly or they missed, stay tuned for future episodes. Like, subscribe, and I will see you off the timeline.